It was a warm afternoon on a quiet stretch of highway in Tennessee when Michael and his biker group stopped at a small gas station. The roar of their engines faded, leaving behind only the hum of summer air. That's when Michael noticed her, a little girl standing near the roadside, clutching a small pink bicycle. Her face was dusty, her eyes tired, but there was a strange determination in her voice when she spoke. "Sir, would you buy my bike? Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days." The men fell silent. Michael removed his helmet, crouched down, and looked into her trembling eyes. "What's your name, sweetheart?" he asked softly. "Lily," she whispered. "Where's your mom, Lily?" he continued. The child pointed toward a worn-out trailer across the road, its windows cracked and curtains torn. Michael glanced at his friends, men with rough hands and tougher reputations, yet all of them looked shaken. Without another word, he nodded toward the trailer. "Let's go," he said. As they walked across the road, the girl pushed her little bike beside them, dust swirling around her feet. None of the men spoke, but in their silence, a quiet promise formed. No child should ever have to beg for her mother's meal. Inside the trailer, the air was heavy with silence and the faint scent of rust. A woman sat on a torn couch, her hands trembling as she tried to stand when the door creaked open. "Mommy, they came to help," the little girl said softly. The woman, pale, thin, and exhausted, forced a weak smile. "You shouldn't have bothered them, Lily," she whispered. Michael stepped forward gently, removing his gloves. "Ma'am, your daughter's got courage. We just want to help." He looked around. The place was barely holding together. Empty shelves, a broken heater, a few stale crackers in a box. "When was the last time you ate?" he asked quietly. The woman's eyes filled with tears. 2 days ago. But Lily comes first." Her voice cracked as she spoke. One of the bikers, Nate, stepped outside and came back with bottled water and sandwiches. Another called the local diner, ordering a hot meal for delivery. The woman hesitated before whispering, "Why would you help strangers like us?" Michael smiled faintly, his weathered face softening. "Because someone once helped me when I was down," he said. As Lily clung to her mother's arm, the woman wept, not out of pain this time, but relief. Michael couldn't get the image of Sarah and Lily out of his mind. The next morning, he drove back alone, determined to understand what had really happened. Sarah looked surprised to see him again, but after a moment of silence, she invited him inside. She spoke quietly, her voice heavy with shame and grief. Her husband had been a mechanic, a good man who worked long hours to keep food on the table. But after he died in a workshop accident, everything began to fall apart. Their landlord evicted them within weeks, claiming unpaid rent. When Sarah went to collect her husband's final paycheck, his employer, a man named Richard Doyle, refused, saying it was compensation for damages. With no savings and nowhere to go, she and Lily moved into the old trailer by the road. Michael's jaw tightened as he listened. He knew that name. Richard Doyle owned several garages around town and was notorious for mistreating his workers. Michael drove straight to the man's office, confronting him face to face. Doyle laughed arrogantly, denying everything. But Michael wasn't leaving without justice. By the next morning, word had spread through the town, and others began coming forward with stories about Doyle's deceit. The truth was, a week later, the small town buzzed with something rare: unity. Michael and his biker friends had organized a charity ride, drawing riders from nearby cities. They shared Sarah and Lily's story, and donations poured in from everywhere: food, furniture, even offers of work. Local businesses came together to renovate an old cottage at the edge of town. By Friday, it stood freshly painted, a white fence gleaming under the Tennessee sun. When Sarah and Lily arrived, they stood frozen at the sight. The mayor handed Sarah the keys with a smile. "Welcome home," he said. Sarah's lips trembled as she whispered, "I don't know how to thank you." Michael placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to. Just promise me you'll never give up again." Lily ran around the yard, her laughter filling the air for the first time in months. She hugged Michael tightly and said, "Now Mommy smiles again." He smiled back, blinking away tears. "Keep that bike, kiddo," he said softly. "You'll need it for school." As the bikers rode away, engines rumbling in harmony, Michael glanced in his mirror, the reflection of hope shining brighter than chrome under the morning sun. Alley surfacing.